they would just pay some wage slave to do it. I don't mean wage slave like that, okay? Sorry for that, guys. You know, it's a funny word, but like I don't like to demean that kind of. It's a job's a job. You know what I mean? Anyways, the trades are one of the last domains where a man can develop genuine sovereignty through genuine competence. You do the job the best.
Dude, I hate this fucking like like you realize how fucking woke-tarded you sound when you say shit like that? Oh, please don't hate me. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Oh. Like, two things can be true, okay? Wage slaves be working hard, okay? They're still wage slaves.
This guy.
That's the way it is, man.
Owns his tools and his customer relationships has more real freedom.
I don't want to offend anyone. Okay, welcome back. I'm J-Star. This is the J-Star broadcast. We're watching Jimmy Talks.
So I'm sure you've seen some YouTube videos or maybe something on Twitter or whatever platform you're on. There's some guy who looks like he's really rich or something like that. He's like, hey, look at my Rolex. I'm thinking of that bald guy who's like, if your bank account, if you didn't make 6 figures by the end of the year, then you've got work to do for like 7 figures. It's something absolutely ridiculous. And then like right after, there's a screenshot of this guy sitting in like business class on an airplane. It's just like, yeah, you're full of shit, buddy. But it's like the same things from all these people. You know, it's like drop shipping, Amazon, FBA, you know, print on demands, you know, flip houses, day trade some penny stocks, and nobody really knows what the fuck they're doing when they talk about that kind of stuff, by the way. Just want to let you know, build your personal brand, grind and hustle, rise and grind again until you're 40 years old and you're exhausted. But, you know, you might be alone, or you might have a Shopify store that only made $1,100 in 3 years, and a following on whatever social media has 800 people who don't actually care about you. They don't actually tell you this stuff, you know. And while you're doing all that and you're trying to build, like, the corny dudes will be like, I'm building my empire. You're actually building their so-called empire. I've seen that so many times. I don't know why they say that. I'm like, I'm building my empire. I don't know why they say that so much. Anyways, it's like you're building it on rented land. Like I'm talking about electronically, all this drop shipping, Amazon, FBA, blah, blah, blah. They're kind of building this on rented land. If I were to give you what it would, imagine this in a physical reality. It's because it's rented land because Amazon owns the platform and Shopify owns the storefront. And YouTube, just like with me, just like with this channel, YouTube really owns the audience. And TikTok owns the content. Instagram owns the followers. You, on the other hand, actually own nothing. You will eat the bugs and you will live in the container pod. But that's exactly how they want it, you know. So I do kind of want to go into something that like what actual sovereignty is. I started this channel off as just something to do with fun, and it's actually popped the fuck up.
Well, I mean, you can operate a business inside of another business, right? Like you can make money, you can exploit people, you can profit within the confines of another company's system. Okay, so it is possible to make money off of these things. Now, with that being said, shit like drop shipping is like extremely saturated, and I don't think you should do any of this bullshit anyway. I think you should focus on worker solidarity. Wow.
The fuck off. So, you know, that's freaking awesome. That's a blessing from the Lord. But actually, you know, let's go into real sovereignty. Because like I said, this isn't my platform. I don't own this. YouTube could stomp on, you know, just stomp on me and kick me out. Just putting out the fire, you know, at the end of the bonfire, you gotta stomp out the ashes. Something like that, right?
I wish they would, man.
I don't want to give you some course. I think that's all bullshit. Not all of them are. I don't really know which ones are, but I can't say every single one is. But you got people selling like $1,000 courses on bullshit about how to be sovereign. It's like, bro, just give people the sauce, okay? You know, so anyways, let me tell you first what hustle culture actually is. Because I don't think a lot of people have stopped long enough to actually examine it. So, hustle culture is repackaging.
I mean, at least the red pill guys, at least the Sigma grind set guys are like somewhat positive, right? They're like yeah, I disagree with them too, but their message is basically like work on yourself, you know, stack your bread. Okay, you just fucking complain. That's what you do. You just fucking complain all the time, and like you sprinkle in a little bit of self-help shit every now and then, and it's just so fucking annoying. And then you're like, oh, woe is me. Women don't like me. My job doesn't let me say slurs.
It's the stuff they've always wanted from you, these corporations. Except now,
like, unironically, I would pick a red pill, Andrew Tate, right? Like that type. I would happily take one of those guys over fucking black-pilled Groiper, annoying fucking Groiper.
60 hours a week, which still happens. You know, skip your lunch break, but then when you clock out, tell them that you actually did clock out for your lunch break, even though you didn't actually get one. That actually happened to me once. Yeah, it's just like, fuck you, I'm not doing that. I'll call the board of labor on you. But anyways, and they left me alone after that. Anyways, they convinced you to do this yourself, though. Instead of telling you to work 60 hours, it's like, actually, no, you need to hustle, grind, blah, blah, blah. So they're basically taking a leash off of you and telling you it's freedom, but you're still the dog that's in the backyard with a fence around it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? All right. So you have people that tell you to document everything that you do.
Wait, what did you just say?
They left me alone after that. Anyways, it happened to me once. Yeah, it's lunch break, but then when you clock out, tell them that you actually did clock out for your lunch break, even though you didn't actually get one. That actually happened to me once. Yeah, it's just like, fuck you, I'm not doing that. I'll call the board of labor on you. But anyway, us telling you to work 60 hours a week, which still happens. You know, skip your lunch break, but then when you clock out, tell them that you actually did clock out for your lunch break, even though you didn't actually get one. That actually happened to me once. Yeah, it's just like, fuck you, I'm not doing that. I'll call the board of labor on you. But anyways, And they left me alone after that. Anyways, they've convinced you to do this yourself, though. Instead of telling you to work 60 hours, it's like, actually, no, you need to hustle, grind, blah, blah, blah. So they're basically taking a leash off of you and telling you it's freedom, but you're still the dog that's in the backyard.
Or slash that happen.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense? All right. So you have people that tell you to document everything that you do, post 5 times a day, sleep for 4 hours, outwork everybody, and sacrifice your 20s for your 30s, sacrifice your 30s for your 40s. Now, honestly, I don't think, working hard in your 20s or your 30s is better. I don't think that's necessarily bad, but there's a distinction here where they don't tell you, they tell you to neglect every other facet of your life and you should only be working. Work isn't bad and work is man purpose, but that being the only thing you do is obviously not good. Too much of anything is bad, So why would they tell you to work all the time? Like for what exactly? So you can have a bigger number in a bank account while your kids grow up without you, so you can buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like. So you can post a screenshot of your ad revenue and feel something for about 45 seconds from the little clicks and all the dopamine bullshit. No, that's gay. I reject that. And here's the thing. I've worked in kitchens before. I worked in kitchens where guys will put in 60-hour weeks for years. They're getting fat. They're all addicted to something. They're doing drugs. They're smoking cigarettes. They're drunk on the job. It's crazy. I've worked at blue-collar jobs. These guys, half of them don't even have a functional back or like working knees anymore. Worked with on the ambulance and healthcare, with people who are dying, and none of them said, I wish I worked more. None of them ever said that in their final moments. They're just like, where's my family? Where's God? None of them wish they had worked more. So hustle culture really isn't about your freedom. It's just about extracting maximum productivity from you while making you feel like the exploitation was actually your idea. It's a brilliant scam, actually. It's a brilliant scam when you think about it. The most efficient slave is the one who just pleases himself. Right? So now let me talk about the specific version of the dog who is off the leash, but he's still in the backyard.
Okay, so you don't like the exploitation, right? You don't like the exploitation, and you recognize that people are in these situations because of their families, because they have people to take care of, they can't go without a job. Okay, so Jim, what do you suppose we do about that? What is your suggestion?
There's a specific version of this that's aimed at our
Spoiler alert, he doesn't have one.
I'm a Zoomer because it's particularly predatory, so I want to call it out. The dropshipping thing that I mentioned already, Amazon FBA, the faceless YouTube channel thing, which is funny because that's what I do, but I didn't actually start this out to just try to make money off of it. It just started as a hobby, but fuck it, I started YouTube. Shit popped off. But anyways, the print on demand thing, the Etsy store thing, whatever. I'm not saying nobody makes money doing those things. Some people do, absolutely. But let me ask you a question. A lot of people, or these hustle grind bros courses and bullshit, they never tell you, what do you actually own at the end of it? You will build a dropshipping store on Shopify, for example. Well, let's just say that Shopify changes their fees, like how much money they take off of your sales because you're hosting your store on their platform. And they have done that before. They change the fees, they change how much money they take from you, and it's never less, it's always more. Your margins, which might be slim, your profit margins, they evaporate. It's gone just that fast because you don't actually own anything. Next, let's go to Amazon FBA. Let's just say Amazon decides to make a competing product themselves. And by the way, they do this all the time. You're done. It's over. You can make it way cheaper. They have way more money than you. Let's say you're on TikTok. You have a huge following. You have like 200K, 300K followers. That's awesome. But the algorithm might change, just like they did with all the Palestine stuff when Larry Ellison bought it. And now suddenly all the Palestine stuff was pushed away and out of the algorithm. So what I'm saying is actually not unheard of. It's not unspoken. They've already done this before. The platform, whatever you're talking about, they'll just decide to ban certain things you talk about. Or a policy shifts and now you can't talk about certain things. YouTube has done that to me twice already. And then your shit's gone. All of it's gone. You're basically just a tenant. You're renting this whole entire time. You thought you were building a house, something stable, I can do this, but then the big bad wolf blows it away because the house is on his property. He owns the land. You don't actually own the land. The platform owns the audience at the end of the day. The platform owns the distribution. The platform owns the relationship. Do you see where I'm getting at now, where they try to hustle, grind, bro? Maybe it'll work. They're still making a bunch of money off of you guys trying, right? You own a login and a dream. That's about it. Here's the thing that really gets me, though. These platforms know exactly what they're doing. That's what really pisses me off. They make it just easy enough to get started that millions of people pour their time and energy and hope to building on their platform, their infrastructure, their website. And then they extract value from all of that activity through advertising, through fees, through data harvesting. I'm pretty sure YouTube takes about 45% of all the money I actually make from ads. They take 45%. That's a freaking shit ton. It was 45% of all the, all the ads, all the ad money you make. So you're not really the entrepreneur in this arrangement. You are actually the product. You are the content. You are the unpaid labor that makes the platform valuable. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys now. We're 10 minutes into it. I hope the Patrick Star, where his head, the plug starts plugging into his head and the light bulb turns on. I hope you know what I'm talking about. I hope you're imagining that right now. So the dropship grind, Amazon FBA.
So all I hear is a lot of whining and complaining. Wah, woe is me. YouTube doesn't give me enough money. What do you want to do about it, man? What is your what's the thesis here? I don't understand.
It's not about building your empire. It can help. But it's about building theirs at the end of the day, most importantly. So, all right, what's the alternative? Let's move on from blackpilling and doompilling ourselves. Because I don't want to just sit here and tell everybody that everything is a scam. Go back to your miserable life. I don't remember who commented this one time, but I really loved it. They were like, hey, Jimmy, I really appreciate how you put like solutions at the end of your videos. It's not just bitching and all that. And you know, that comment, whoever made that,
I mean, you do take your time getting there.
That was fantastic, and that's something I have been doing for a while. So I actually think there's an answer here with all this. You know, and the answer is so old and so obvious that the fact that we've forgotten it tells you everything about how far gone we actually are. You know, real wealth is ownership. Just like we said, you don't actually own what you own on those platforms. Air quotes own. It's, you know, you're not owning the Shopify store. You're not owning the Instagram account. They'll just ban your shit anyways. Ownership of things that exist in physical reality and cannot be deleted or demonetized or algorithm changed or terms of service violated out of existence. You know what I mean? So let me give you the list that our great grandparents understood instinctively. And the first one would be land. Land is the oldest form of wealth that exists. Every aristocracy in human history understood you need land. Every empire understood this. The reason the American dream was built around home ownership wasn't like sentiment or like it just felt good, man. It just seemed like a good idea. You know, no. It was the understanding that a man with land has a foundation that a man without land simply does not have. You can't be evicted from land you own. You can't be laid off from it. The algorithm cannot suppress it. The platform can't ban it. You know, a man with even a small piece of land, even just say like a suburban lot with a garden, it's just a little small thing, has more real sovereignty than a man with a six-figure dropshipping income that's built entirely on rented digital infrastructure. It's not real at the end of the day. And it's just how it is. It's a spiritual thing. You know, you just kind of have to think about it. You're like, yeah, you know, that shit is so true. JT, Jimmy Talks, you be spitting, dog. All right, now I'm glazing myself. Moving on to the next thing I think that you should probably have that can't get banned or demonetized or hit with a ban hammer because you know, a Reddit mod didn't like it. Skills. That is not credentials. Okay, skills. Credentials can be skills, but that's not exactly what I mean by that. Things you can do with your hands and your mind that other people need done is what I'm talking about. Right. So I told you, I've worked in kitchens. That skill feeds me anywhere in the world. Okay, it's that simple. Skills. Okay, it doesn't have to be like I know how to build a rocket ship. Be like, bro, I can cut an onion and fry it. Okay, and then mix it with scrambled eggs. That's delicious. I eat that all the time. Genuinely, I love eggs, bro. I love eggs so much. It's probably one of like the top 3 ingredients. You just eggs, man. You can do so much with them. But anyways, I've worked blue collar, and those skills have made me useful in ways that somebody like a social media manager is simply not useful when things get difficult. You know, the trades are not a consolation prize for people who couldn't go to college. By the way, I hate that. I really hate that sentiment because it takes a rather smart person to be able to wire, like an electrician, for example, to wire a whole entire grocery store. That shit's not easy. If it was easy, they would just pay some wage slave to do it. I don't mean wage slave like that. Okay, sorry for that, guys. You know, it's a funny word, but like I don't like to demean that kind of. It's a job's a job. You know what I mean? Anyways. The trades are one of the last domains where a man can develop genuine sovereignty through genuine competence. You do the job the best.
Dude, I hate this fucking like, like you realize how fucking woke-tarded you sound when you say shit like that? Oh, please don't hate me. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Oh. Like, two things can be true, okay? Wage slaves be working hard, okay? They're still wage slaves.
This guy.
That's the way it is, man.
Who owns his tools and his customer relationships has more real freedom.
I don't want to offend anyone.
At a big Fortune 500 company, mostly their job is to not get fired. They'll fire everybody else. They'll shift the blame on anything. That's mostly what their job is, and like ass kissing. You know what I mean? That sucks. I don't like that. Now, next for things that can't just be deleted because a YouTube mod said it was bad, has happened to me before, speaking from real experience from me, is local networks. This one has almost completely disappeared from a lot of people's conversations, which is absolutely...
Hey, what up, C-Pilot17? What's up? Hey, I'm sorry, I just realized it says I'm playing a game, my bad. Yeah, that's right, I'm a wizard. I am gonna be playing that game in a second, but I'll change the category. We're watching Jimmy Talks, bro.
Be the most important one because local networks.
I'm a wizard, damn it.
Land's expensive. How am I gonna buy land, Jimmy? Great job.
True.
I have to buy land. It's expensive. Look, I get it. I know it's expensive. You know what people did for freaking ages until probably like the 50s, boomer generation? They all bought houses and they lived in the same one for like ever. It's just generational homes. Everybody lived in the same house. Now that kind of started to go away after some time because we had the greatest. I'm not taking that out. The greatest. I meant to say greatest in generation, but no, really, we had like the greatest economic time ever with the boomers, with that generation specifically. And you could actually move out and work a part-time job and pay off your college and actually save up for
what happened to that, Jimmy?
That's not really possible anymore, and that's not really the norm in human history.
Why is that?
So local networks, that is a part of...
Wait, that's not the norm in human history? I mean, if you want to like zoom way out, the norm in human history is you just fucking go wherever you want. Is the vid in 2x speed? Actually, it's in 1.75 times speed. Actually,
buying land. This is a part of it. That would be something like maybe not with buying land in particular, but
that's the way I watch all of these videos. Okay, I watch them on like 2x speed.
Neighbors, your church, your community, the town you live in, the people in a 5-mile radius who know your face and your name and your family is what I'm talking about. You know, these relationships are worth more in a genuine crisis than any number of online followers. Straight up, when things go wrong and things do go wrong, whatever that may be. The people who show up are the people who know you in person. You know, as much as there's some people in the comments that just, I'm like, dude, I have so much empathy for this guy. If they're going through something hard,
my bad.
It's like, I can't be there. I don't actually know.
Man, you're good.
I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just, who's actually going to be there for somebody? It's the people you know. You know, the guy with 50,000 Instagram followers and 0 close friends in his physical community is 1 bad month away from like complete isolation. You know, sad to say it. The guy with 200 people in his church.
Even if you, I hate this fucking idea that like, that your community, right? If you have this like support, you have enough support, then you'll be fine. You'll be fine no matter what. No, man. All of us are one layoff, one medical emergency away from homelessness, from vagrancy. Yeah, they talk too slow, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, that's most commentators. You know, I try to, like, get my words out as quickly and concisely as possible. Sometimes that means I say things in haphazardly. True. Yeah, I mean, it's just a fact. Like, everybody, but 99% of the people in my country, in the United States, they are one disaster away from homelessness. That's crazy, man.
And his neighborhood, on the other hand, who would show up for him, is wealthy in a way that doesn't show up in any financial metric. Right? Lastly, I'm going to say family, because it'll sound insane, but insane in the fact that it's so obvious, but nobody really says it. Not enough anyways, if they do. Not enough people are. A stable family with children is the most important economic and social unit ever devised by human civilization. Look how that's been dismantled so they can turn us all into slaves. Talked about that plenty of times in this channel.
You beat Subnautica yet? I've beaten it twice. Actually, not really. No, I haven't even beaten it once. Yeah, I got to the end in my single player playthrough, and then my friend wanted to play it, so I started a new run. And then we both she works like every day, so yeah, we'll play it together eventually. Okay, we will. I'm gonna do it next week. We're gonna finish it in like one day, because we're right at the end, I'm pretty sure.
Channel already.
I already got all the tools and
not,
stuff.
The family is important, and it's not because it's some romanticized idea or because it's pretty, it looks nice, it sounds nice. Oh yes, I love my mom, I love my dad. It's awesome and amazing because it works. You know, it's because it creates people who have skin in the game, so to say, in their community. Because it creates continuity across generations as well. And then lastly, it is the primary vehicle throughout history, maybe not with boomers, because some of them have absolutely lost their fucking
people
mark.
Can't have children. Children don't provide stability. Children are a product of stability. You have children when you feel stable, when you like have a nice job and you got the house and you feel stable, okay? People can't have children because they don't feel stable. Okay, obviously, that's the way it is.
And all that, like just the TV box programming them with the mind virus.
They can provide stability to a relationship. Yeah, I mean, depends on the relationship. But anyway, I agree with that.
On YouTube.
I agree with that
but
somewhat.
Historically, families have given to their kids and relatives all their values.
I think you know, that idea is a little dangerous. Some people think that like children can like patch up their shitty relationship. I've known people that are like products of those kinds of marriages, and it's never really works out.
You know,
but then again, we went through the recession, so maybe that's why.
You know, hustle culture though explicitly asks you to delay or abandon family formation, abandon God. Who cares about that? You need to be working for the sake of grind. Work now, live later. Absolutely
America.
Atrocious. It's disgusting. Except later has a way of never arriving with them too. And the grind has a way of becoming your entire identity. And then people are hitting 30 and they wonder where their life went. You know, your ancestors didn't delay family or reading scripture for the grind.